What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York here at Aftershock Festival 2022, Day 3. In our first interview of the day, we return with Manuel of Zeal and Ardor. Great to talk with you again, man. Thanks for being.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's great to have you back here, man. I can't believe it's been 3 years since the Baroness Deaf Heaven tour that I chatted with you guys last, man. Time flies.
Yeah, that's a hot minute ago.
Yeah.
It's a good one. That was a good run, though.
Yeah, 100%. But a lot has changed since then. You got the self-titled album out now. Was this intended to just be a continuation of what we heard on Stranger Fruit, or were you kind of like intending to make a new beginning for Zeal and Ardor in a way?
Kind of like an evolution of that, or finalization of that, and like opening some weird windows to evolve into. So there's, it's an evolution of it, but that there's potential ventures in it. So we'll see.
Does it ever start off with a preconceived vision of what you want the album to sound like, or is there a lot of improvising involved?
There's a lot of just fucking about and experimentation and fiddling with sounds, and then I have like a group of 30 songs, and I figure out what kind of fits together and what the theme could be. Mm-hmm. So it's very much a stream of consciousness type deal. Yeah.
And when it comes to like getting that inspiration and that stream of consciousness, do ideas just come out of the blue in a way, or do you have a usual place that you go to in order to cultivate those ideas?
I'm very unromantic about that. It just takes iteration and just trying, experimentation, failure. So it's like a muscle to me. I just have to keep writing, and 90% of it is going to be hot garbage, and the 10% that aren't are not.
I find it so ironic that you have that unromantic aspect behind it, because the music itself has this romantic feeling to it. Every time I've seen Zeal and Ardor, it puts us in like an altered state of mind in a way.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I want to go, but the process in itself is trial and error and just iteration. So it's basically just work. I get up at 9, I write music, and then it's midnight, and then I go home. Yeah.
When you're working, if you work on something for like a long span of time, though, because sometimes you're working on a song for days, weeks, if you're Tool, 13 years, but do you find it like when you work on a song for a long time, it's kind of harder to maintain that energy or emotion that initially sparked that idea, kind of?
Definitely. I try to have a song done as long as it's fresh in my mind, because what happens with me personally is I try to improve on the song, and the more I do it, I just kind of stray from the original idea, and it's just kind of washed out. And I really, really try to avoid that.
Yeah, of course. Has Zeal and Ardor ever approached a song from a conceptual standpoint? Could a subject matter or a certain event or a personal experience maybe dictate the direction of the sound as well?
Well, the Wake of a Nation EP was exactly that. So it was, triggered by what happened with George Floyd, and so that was pretty much a concept album with songs therein kind of following suit in that direction. It's not my preferred way of working, but it can be done. It works, but I'd rather just fuck around in the studio.
Especially, but if there's an important message to get across.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's funny too. It seems like you, for inspiration, it comes both internally and externally, right? There's like a lot of observation as a part of the songwriting process as well.
Yeah, but the funny thing about that is you don't get to choose what kind of influences you. For instance, now I've been on tour with Imperial Triumphant, and I'm sure that's going to leave a mark on me. Also, we were out with Sylvain, and that's, you never know what's going to stick with you. So if I'm in a supermarket and there's a George Michael song, and I have this brilliant idea 2 days later, and I realize that might be George Michael, So it's fun, but you have no control over it.
I really think you guys should do a cover of Careless Whisper. I think
that would fucking rule.
Dude,
yeah.
Make that. Speaking of the romantic aspect of a Zeal and Ardor.
There we go.
Show, right? And I really love what you said. You don't get to choose what inspires you, and it might be kind of like a very like brain picky question, but whether you choose it or not, it's coming at you one way or another. How do you like decide if this is going to be part of a song or not? Is there like
you finish the song? You finish the song, and if you like it, you keep it. If not, you write another one.
Really?
Yeah.
So you try to make a song about everything that inspires you, even if it's everywhere.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible. And do you look at every album? Do you think that the idea of an album or an EP could evolve over time as you evolve as an artist, or do you prefer if every Zeal and Ardor album is like a snapshot of who you are at that particular time?
I mean, it'll always be a snapshot to a certain degree, but I'd like to think that I evolve. I think being stagnant is pretty much the death of creativity, for me personally at least. And I would like to evolve. And I don't know what that entails, but I'm willing to try.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Zeal and Ardor album that's a continuation of the previous album. I think it's just a continuation of the evolution.
I don't have any focus, huh? It's just
Yeah, absolutely. Now you've played with a variety of different bands. Just your recent tour with Imperial, Triumphant, and Sylvain. Great lineup, but I've seen you with Baroness and Death Heaven as well. Different type of lineup. You've played with a lot of, and also Opeth and Mastodon.
Yeah.
Have you noticed maybe different types of reactions or maybe different types of crowds depending on like the tours that you have been on?
I mean, it's always been fairly open-minded people. We were kind of scared because we did a run with Meshuggah, and Meshuggah fans want to see Meshuggah, but they were really welcoming to us. Of course, not everyone was thrilled, and they just want to see Bleed. I can understand that, but we were, I think, really lucky when it comes to other bands' audiences. That sounded right. That sounded just correct.
Audiences.
Yeah. It's been super welcoming. So I'm kind of waiting to fall flat on our faces.
I don't think that's going to happen.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
But in addition to seeing you play with a variety of different bands, I've also seen you play with a variety of different venues as well. Like I've seen you at like smaller, more intimate venues like the Music Hall of Williamsburg show that you've done. But I've also seen you at big places like Hammerstein Ballroom, Terminal 5, and this festival. Do you think that maybe the vibe or the experience is also different depending on like the room that you're playing in?
Oh, definitely. It's also a difference if you're headlining or not. But we strive to deliver the exact same show and the exact same involvement with the audience every show we do. So we kind of neglect where we are as best as we can to varying degrees of success.
Yeah. Well, I think that I could tell that you do that because whether I see you in a smaller venue or a bigger venue, it's not Zeal and Ardor at Hammerstein Ballroom, Zeal and Ardor at Music Hall of Williamsburg. It's just Zeal and Ardor. I think you create an alternate reality with your experience.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah. When you perform all these songs live, though, does it put you back in that emotional state of mind that you were when you were writing it in a way? Or do you think playing live brings a new type of context to the song?
It does put me back. And I think in order to perform it properly, I kind of have to regress, go back there and, feel those emotions again. And I think that's the beauty of music. It kind of just transports you emotionally to a different state.
Yeah, a song is the closest thing to a time machine, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for coming back on the show. It's always great to be able to see you and talk with you.
Man.
Yeah, is there just anything else with Zeal and Ardor that you'd like to promote with the release of the self-titled album?
Well, we're playing in Europe in 2 weeks. We have a big old tour. It's going to be sick. So if you're European and not too far in the future, come see us.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much. And you'll be back in the States soon, right, as well?
Yeah, but it's nothing I'm allowed to talk about.
Always.
But you know what that means, guys.
When you're not allowed to talk about it, good shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep. But thank you so much. Everybody, we are here with Zeal and Ardor. Be sure to check out their self-titled record. We will see you next time on Heavy New York, Aftershock 2022.
Heavy New York.